Tubbs fire, and it happened on the evening of October 9th, 2017. And my wife woke me up, and middle of the night, just felt this hand on my shoulder wake me up. I was really confused. I look at the alarm clock next to me, it says 12:45. And I look out the window, and there's this glow on the horizon. And I know that is not a good glow at 12:45 a.m. So I walk out onto the deck outside the bedroom, and I see this wildfire cresting the hill and sweeping down toward our house. And at that moment, the lights went out, the power went out.
Oh,
and I said to my
scary.
wife, we're getting out of here right now. We literally sprinted through the house, grabbed the car keys, threw on half of our clothes, and then ran outside through a snowstorm of embers. It was like this blizzard of embers. The winds were gusting up 80 miles an hour, and so all these embers just peppering the trees and the house and everything. We ran to the car, and I began to wonder as I ran out there to the car, am I overreacting? And then suddenly a tree went up behind our office buildings. We had a building that housed our office. We had a warehouse and a whole bunch of buildings on the property, and this tree just went up like a huge firework display. And then I realized,
explosion type
yeah,
of?
an explosion.
Oh, wow.
I realized I'm not overreacting. We jumped in the car. As we drove out at full speed down our long driveway, my wife felt heat on her head and thought, why is it hot above my head? Looked up through the moonroof, and all the trees above her were on fire, all the branches above her. So we tore out of the development, got to the main road, and eventually after about 3 miles knew we were safe. And
I mean, you didn't just have your house burned down, you escaped with your life.
yeah, moments before the fire.
Both of those things. And that's, most people, I'm saying, this would have been a lifelong trauma. Barely out of the ashes at this point, and you can talk about this so clearly. And it is incredible. Now, you lost, and it flattened the house. We have some pictures here of what it looked like before. And then you not only had your home, but you had other businesses on the property. And there were many people in the neighborhood that didn't get out.
It was so unfortunate because the fire was moving, according to firefighters, at the length of a football field every 3 seconds.
Oh my God.
And so people were trapped in their garages. When the power went out, they couldn't get out of the garage. They went back to get pets or treasured possessions. They died with their pets. 5,300 homes were destroyed that night, and 22 people died. And of those, 8 died within a 1,000-yard radius of our house because the fire was moving so fast. Only those who were able to run out like we did survived. And so it was one of those really, just disorienting events.
We've had to evacuate from fires as well. You know, living in California, this is unfortunately the state. And I remember the ashes, and everyone is evacuating at the same time, and every single place to stay is filled for miles. It just, you keep driving and it's still no vacancy, no vacancy. Where did you go that night?
Well, the funny thing is I had a conversation with a friend of mine called Bill about 20 years earlier, and we said, if the zombie apocalypse ever happened,
Okay.
and if the economy collapsed, I needed a place to go, can I come to your house?
Oh.
So we had people we knew would take us in. So we went to Bill's house and just knocked on the door there, leaned on the doorbell, and he came to the door, and we stayed with him. But then his town was evacuated, so we then had to very hurriedly move even further away from the fire sites.
Yes.
So we spent a few days very disoriented. We weren't like together the first few days. We were then the second day, some friends crept in past the National Guard that had sealed off the whole area, because I texted this friend who lived nearby and said, can you go and see if the house survived?
Oh, yeah.
And so that's when I got the photographs showing just pretty much just concrete slab, ash on top. The washing machine had melted, the refrigerator had melted, the cars had melted. All there was a stone chimney left. So that's when we knew the house was really, really truly gone.
Yes, it did take that confirmation, because you're still hoping up to that point. When you saw that photo, what did you and your wife do?
We were actually fairly calm, and what we did the following morning was the pivot point of the whole experience for us, because I woke up the next morning The previous night, it had been very, very dark because of all the ash in the air. The sun set in this like big orange bowl because of all the ash. And we were feeling very, very strange and out of our bodies. And the next morning I woke up and I said to my wife, we need to do something immediately right now, and that's meditate. So we
just
sat in
because
bed.
you knew, because
we
of,
knew.
of the brain, you knew what was going to happen with the setting in of the trauma?
I didn't know what would happen, but I did know we were not in our bodies. We were out of our normal selves. So we sat in bed, meditated, and we felt ourselves literally drop back into our bodies. We came to our senses again. And after that, Lisa, we began to joke about stuff we lost in the fire. Like, for example, I had these boxes of photographs from my mom who died 20 years ago. They'd been in the garage. I was supposed to sort through them, which I hadn't gotten around to for 20 years. And now it's like, well, I guess I can cross that off my list.
You
So
don't
we
want
were
to
joking
laugh,
about all
but
this stuff 2 days after the fire, but only after meditating and coming back into our bodies.
that had to have been a very powerful meditation that you did. I mean, it wasn't just sitting and closing your eyes and letting your thoughts run throughout your mind, right? You had a specific technique there that you used, right?
I developed a technique about 10 years ago called eco-meditation. We do it every morning. It's very powerful. It's basically meditation for failed meditators. If you can't meditate, if you have monkey mind, this will fix you. And it's just a very simple series of relaxation exercises you do, but it puts you into this very, very, very deep state. So we use that, and that put us there right away.